Welcome to Time with T. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me. I know it's been a minute since I've been here, and all the handful of people that actually like my content have missed me, and I have missed being here. So it's good that we get to be together again. Now, there are 5 things that I always talk about that has not changed: literature, performing arts, Agenda 23, myself, and gender-based violence. And today I want to speak about literature. I think I've been speaking about literature for a while, and I think I'm still going to continue speaking about literature for the longest of time, because it is absolutely one of my favorite things to talk about and to be a part of. So I am the host of a literary program called Conversations with the Author, produced by the South African State Theatre, the largest theatre in all of Africa. And with that, I get to have conversations with authors, and it has been the honor and the greatest joy of my life. Recently, I had a conversation with a young man called Tshegofatso Diane Sephula for our 36th Conversations with the Author, and I read his book Mental Decay. I read it in one sitting because it was hard for me to put down. And when I asked him how long it took him to write this book, he said 3 months, and I thought it was even quick for an author to put a book together. But that is what happens when you write a true story. When you write a story that is based on your true events, you sort of just sit down and start writing, and from start to finish, and then you have a book. As opposed to when you're writing fiction, now you have to sit with it and develop some characters and give characters personalities, so that tends to take a bit of time. So in my conversation with Tshegofatso Diane Sephula, I learned quite a lot, and I say this all the time. Well, with every conversation I learn different lessons. So ever since the inception of the program, I have learned 36 different lessons in 36 different ways. And I even told him this. I said, every author that I speak to, at the end of a conversation, I will say, you have been my favorite guest. I don't say it all the time, but 90% of the time I say it. And I said this to him, and I said I meant it. And I will steal a page from the artistic director of the South African State Theatre, Aubrey Scabi's book, when he says that when I asked him one time during one of my interviews with him what his favorite play is, and he said, whatever I'm working on at the time is my favorite play. And then I used to say that to say whatever book I'm reading at the time is my favorite book. But I have to say with Mental Decay that it has gone to my top 5 of favorite books, and Tshegofatso Diane Sephula is definitely in my top 2 of favorite authors, based on the authenticity of his storytelling and the way that he writes. I am often very skeptical about self-publishers, because I always think when you're self-publishing, it's like grading your own paper. You're too familiar with the story. You don't get to look at a story from a distance. You give yourself an A and then you publish. But with Mental Decay, for a self-published project, it's outstanding. And it's outstanding because it's based on true events, and it's based on his life. And I kept asking him, I was like, what are you doing here talking to me? Shouldn't you be under a bed crying, curled up in a couch somewhere crying and refusing to participate in life? Because his story is so mind-blowing. I don't know a lot of people that would have gone through what he gone through, and what he went through rather, and sit and tell the tale the way that he tells the tale. He is extremely articulate. He is very well spoken. He is confident in his speech, but yet he's very respectful. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in a conversation with somebody who respects me, and who respects my space, and who respects my opinion. And it was all in his body language, the way that he was responding to my questions, and the way that he was responding to my comments, and the way that he would just even let me interject when I needed to interject. And I know I have this bad habit, and when I did that, he just let me be. He allowed me to do that. And for me, it was the most amazing thing. And his mother was also in the audience, and because he speaks a lot about his mother in his book, and his mother was also a part of the conversation, I invited her into the conversation, and she was also just as willing to go there with me, and I for me, at some point I felt uncomfortable, because I would say I'm digging really deep into their private space, but it's all in the book. I didn't speak about anything that was not in the book. So meaning that it was in the book, it meant that they wanted to speak about it, they put it out there. It was still uncomfortable for me, because some things are really personal, but they both allowed me to do that, and not only was his mother there, his two younger brothers were also there, and they were also just so gentle and so well mannered and so well behaved. And you can also tell by their body language that they are being raised in a very comfortable home. They are being raised to become respectful men, and to become members of society who contribute positively into the world that they are sent out to. And to have their older brother as Diane Sipula as the example that he had set, I believe that those two young men are going to be great. And speaking about it, one of them designed the cover of this book, and I think that Tero's mom is really, Mesipula is really, I like Morolela Hute. What she's doing raising boys is incredible. And how she came out on the other side with everything that she has gone through, and as a pair, is really something to write about. And I mentioned this to her more than once, to say I'm looking forward to her writing her own story. I would love to read a book about her life. I would like to learn a few lessons about how to communicate with your children and sustain a relationship even through turmoil. And I say this from experience to say, I have a non-existent relationship with my mom, and to see a mom and child do that after everything that is in here, I would like to believe that everything is possible, but I would like to know how they did it, because there has to have been a method. She had to have had some tools in her toolbox to help her navigate and to end up where they are right now. And I am definitely looking forward to see more from them. I'm excited to see what God is going to do in their lives. I'm excited to see what this journey is going to lead to, but I can only say amazing things. So head down to the South African State Theatre bookstore. You will find this book available. Get yourself a copy, and otherwise you can get in touch with either Tshegofatso or his mom on social media. They are very active, and you can order the book from them and they will courier. And also I do have a book club called the Book Nook online book club that I have not been paying attention to because of my other literary commitments, but that is absolutely no excuse. So I started it in July, where the first book was The City Is Mine by Nick Mhlongo, and then the August book was When Secrets Become Stories, an anthology where women speak about their experiences. It was edited by Sunyati. September I didn't pick a book. October I didn't pick a book. We are at the end, but for November I am picking Mental Decay, because Movember we are going to talk about mental health. We are going to keep the conversation going. We are going to keep letting men know that it's okay to speak. We are going to create safe spaces, and as women we are going to teach ourselves the language to communicate to men who have gone through some stuff or who are currently going through some stuff. That the issue of mental health can be caused by a number of different things, and men do suffer too. Men get abused too. Men need an outlet as well, and we need to create those spaces in as much as we create them for women and children. And we cannot exclude the men when it comes to this kind of topic. And for me, in my humble opinion, this book is it when it comes to learning about mental health, when it comes to teaching other people about mental health, when it comes to bringing awareness of this issue that we call depression and OCD and anxiety and all the other different forms of mental illnesses. I have read a number of books on the subject. I have done a bit of research on the subject. I have read essays on the subject, and reading this book makes me understand fully how to approach a man who is in a situation, or a man who I think might be in a situation. It helps me approach to start. It helps me. It's a part of a tool that helps me start these conversations. And I'm raising a son, and it's important for me that I let him know that it's okay for him to talk to me about certain things that I might not necessarily understand. I am learning on how to create a safe space for us to communicate. I am learning on how to keep the communication line open no matter what. And I am definitely learning the language to use, because a lot of us don't know the language. We don't know how to speak. And when I realize that, or when I think about the number of people that I no longer speak to, or a number of people that I just no longer, just vibe with, it's because of the things that they have said to me, or the things that I have said to them. So communication really is the center of everything. That is where everything begins, and that is where everything ends. And if we can't figure that one out, we are definitely not going anywhere as a society and as a nation. So that is where communication starts, and this here really helped me further improve the communication that was already there with my child, and it will help me further improve the communication that is already there with all of my children. And it will help me improve communication with the male counterparts that I come along, that I meet up along the way. It is an important tool. I never whenever I read a book, I will talk about it, and I will just tell people to go get it. But this time is an urge. This is a call for action. This is urgent. If you do not have this book in your household, it is urgent. It is so urgent that I need to get myself a second copy just for my children, because this one belongs to me. It's a book that is not going on the shelf for me. It's a book that I'm going to take with me everywhere, because it is a book that I need to not forget. And there's one other book that I did that with, Audacity by Lebula, and I used to carry that book everywhere with me, because every now and then I needed a reminder of something, and I'm getting those same vibes with this book, that I'm gonna carry it with me everywhere I go. And if you ask me what my book of the month is, any day I will tell you Mental Decay by Tshegofatso Diane Sephula. If you ask me to recommend a book for a group of people to read, or for a group of people to do research on for a certain subject, I will tell you that get Tshegofatso Diane Sephula. And it's not just about mental health, it's about relationships too. It's about your daily struggles. It's about getting out of a hole that you dug yourself. It's about laying on a bed that you made, It's about taking responsibility. It's about going from numb and to start feeling again. It's about going from being an unpleasant person, it's about going from being painful to be around. When you get that book, you will come across that phrase where somebody tells Tshegofatso that you are painful to be around, and we spoke about it at Conversations with the Author. And I have never had a book do this to me emotionally. I will say that for free. This book made me sad, and it made me happy. It turned me inside out emotionally and upside down. It tore me apart, and it put me back together again. And again, I will say it, I recommend it, and it is definitely Book Nook's book of the month of November. We are going to meet on the 29th of November. I would have liked to meet on that last day of November, but keep on the lookout. You will understand why I can't do Book Nook on the 30th of November, because something exciting is brewing. But we will definitely do Book Nook on the 29th of November, and this is the book currently available at Stay Theatre and also available from the author himself. You can I will add the details in the comment section so that you order yours. One of the things that I love about literature is that we get to have conversations such as these. We get to peek into somebody else's life so that we can apply certain changes in our lives, and that is the beauty of literature. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you soon. I definitely hope to see you go Book Nook with Mental Decay. And I know I'm wearing the most gorgeous shirt I own currently. So get yourself a copy. Let's get reading. Tshegofatso Diane Sipula is one of my most favorite authors. He is a once in a lifetime type of human being, and his mother is a once in a generation type of woman, and I would like for her to teach us women how to raise our kids. I would like for her to share her tools with us. I can carry on about these two for the rest of the day, and I don't have all day, so I'll see you next time on Conversations on Time with I will see you next time on Time with T. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me. Until then, keep well and be kind to one another and spread the awareness. Mental health is not a weakness, and asking for help is not a weakness. The strongest thing you can do is reach out and ask for help. You are supposed to be here. You are worth being here, and your life is precious, and you are important, and you matter. Love and light.